Yo, still bills. What's the deal, man? Yo, heading to work right now. I'm about to be late because I got to get this video off my chest. But on this glorious Monday morning, it's a beautiful day to be in Nebraska, man. It's raining out, and my voice is done. They showed that fight on, on the Deuce. That fight was so important and pivotal to us because it took place on a bi-yearly celebration that we have up here in the city. You know what I'm saying? On Omaha Day, and they showed that video on the Deuce at the Bryan Center, and I was down there with some of my guys, and while that fight was unfolding, we was in there losing our minds, man. So my voice is completely shattered. I'm gonna be like, it sound like I'm hoarse. It's gonna sound like I'm like I got strep throat for the next week or so. But it is what it is. It's all it's all love, man. It's all worth it, man. But first off, I want to say shout out to Earl Spence. Put up a valiant effort. We see the greatness in you. A unified, a former unified world champion who was undefeated up until Saturday. You know, you did, you handled your own. You did what you could do to go in there and win the fight. You still got the heart of a warrior. You never wanted to stop that. You never wanted the fight stopped or anything. Salute to you for that. But as far as the fight actually taking place is concerned, like I said, inactivity is gonna be a motherfucker in this fight. It's gonna be a motherfucker, man. You can't go that long without a fight and turn your nose up at a tuna fight when you're in the fight of your life and your career. That just isn't the right logical move to make, man. And it showed. Now, had he had a tune up, I still don't think it would have done much to change the outcome of the situation. But possibly his timing could have been a little bit better. He could have found those pockets behind the elbow to land those body shots. He kind of find, he could have possibly split the guard a little bit better. His timing was a little bit off, but even then, it was never on to the point where it would have ever wavered Bud from winning that fight. Now, as far as the fight is concerned, like that first round, I only gave him one round in that fight, and that was due to activity. That was due to him pumping the jab, and in that case, the prediction stuck. He got it. He was able to jab, keep him at bay with the jab, and throw off of the jab. No shots was necessarily landing like that, but shots like he was active. He won the fight off of activity. Now I thought he'd be able to maintain that for the next 3 rounds and do well into the fourth round, but and I figured that's around the fifth, the middle rounds is when the pendulum was just had completely shifted in the Bud's favor. But I was wrong. He held that for the first, for the second round. Bud got a little bit more active, but he was still being, calculated and being really precise in the shots that he was landing. The difference was he was just stepping up the tempo of the fight. But historically, historically when you have a history of doing something, in most cases, whatever field that you're in, history is going to repeat itself. And I figured history would have repeated itself. But I also said that because there's not much to adjust to when it comes to Spence, that he could come out there and be a little bit quicker on the trigger. It did because we get what it is that we get out of Spence. Spence has been fighting the same way since he's been a pro. He's been fighting the same way since he's been a pro, and he doesn't make adjustments. So he may be able to get started a little bit earlier. If you can handle that tempo, then what he fights at, usually you can weather the storm of the pressure that he's applying and overcome it. And that ended up being the case right here. Because in the second round, Bud put him on his back pockets. And he really started stepping the tempo up after that. When he realized, yo, I can hit this dude, but you can't hit me. Oh man, and it's like shocked Spence to get dropped so early. And he had this look on his face like, what the fuck was that? That's never happened to me before. But it happened to him on Saturday night, man. So, from that point on, it was just downhill momentum from Bud, man. The jab was there. Everything was just landing precisely, bro. In particular, the straight punches, man, keeping him at bay with, you know what I'm saying, with with the jab, and just really just bending him to his will, keeping him at bay with the jab, the smart, the straight sharp shots. And I've seen he who knows nothing about boxing say some dumb shit like that wasn't the right Earl Spence and yada yada yada. And what I keep telling niggas is this, or like what he say, he didn't do this. It wasn't no effective aggression. It wasn't no tactical boxing. It wasn't proper punch placement. It wasn't body shots. The thing is, it wasn't like he wasn't doing that shit because he wasn't doing it. It wasn't like that. I don't feel like doing that shit today. I'm gonna find him another way. No, it wasn't that at all. Or it wasn't he was outside of himself. Well, technically he was outside of himself, but he was outside of himself because he was just simply in front of somebody who was better than him. They're not just going in there and not doing the things that wins them fights because they don't feel like doing it. No, they're being met with resistance, and this dude's level of resistance is far greater than what Spence was able to offer. It was Bud's jab in his face, and his ability to step back off of the jab and counter him effectively in between the shots that he was throwing. It was ability to fight better and more composed in the pocket. Everybody was really hyped off of how Spence did Ugas. Ugas is not Bud. Ugas does not have the lateral movement of a Bud. Ugas does not take half steps back off the jab like Bud. He does not set traps like Bud. And he's not as composed in the pocket as Bud. Bud's guard was extremely tight in the clinch, and he punished Spence at his own game. Y'all, if he stays still, I'm taking his eye socket away from him and this and that and the third. Bud probably went out to the fight, went out to the club after that. Went out and celebrated on the town, and niggas wouldn't even have known that he was in a fight. Ugas is not Bud. But after that first knockdown, Spence got up and Bud allowed him in, and he could not find those pockets around the elbow and behind the guard to really, impose his will on him. Bud was hitting this man at will, tapping the body, countering effectively, man. Like, just the straight shot. Everything was just landing, and it was beautifully well placed punches. The man got dropped twice in the seventh round. Just like that was just a masterclass performance. That was a masterclass performance, and just just from round what was that? From round 6 to 7, he's just walking this dude in the shots. He's being first, leading the dance. He's posed. He's planting his feet. He's poised and he's planting his feet in the pocket, and he's going to work. He just had his way with Spence in there. He had his way with Spence in there, and then in the seventh round, his back is against the rope. Spence blitzes in, and this is what I mean by counterpunching, man. You can't just go in there as a locomotive who's active with, you know what I'm saying? Just your sense of an adjustment is to up your tempo in the fight. That's not going to do, like, no, bro. And as I've stated before, his work rate was going to drop in that fight because Bud is going to start finding a home for the, for the shots that he's landing and punish for the shots that he's missing. I mean, he's going to punish him for that. His work rate is he's not going to come out throwing 40. If he throws 40 punches in the round before that, he's not going to come out throwing 65 punches in the next round because 20 of those shots he would have missed and he would have been punished for it. As that's what happened. That happened. So what does he do? Just the counter puncher, man. His levels, bro. Like when he came in with a body shot and he landed this shot, but by that time his legs were completely taken from him due to the body shots and due to getting his bell rung a multitude of times that it wasn't as much sting on the shots as they was in the first round or at any other fight, like any other fight that he has fought in. His legs were gone. You saw that in the punches that he was throwing. They wasn't landing with devastating effect like they would do with any and everybody else. So I can take a shot to give a shot, and that's sure enough what happened. He went in there and threw a body shot and got the natural counter to the body shot is the uppercut up the middle, and we see why. Sat him down. And then with 3 seconds left in the round, planted him on the canvas again with the right hand. Like, bro, he just put on a miraculous performance, man. And then the last the last, the nail in the coffin off the catch and shoot counter. This is what I mean by counter punching abilities, Brody. He was completely outclassed in there, man. That catch and shoot counter was magnificent. Tyson like. Tyson like. He went in there and he destroyed it. And was Brazy, he only landed 20% of his punches, bro. By CompuBox stat, according to CompuBox stats. How is that like that? When does that ever happen? All of the fighters that y'all claim to be hype jobs and all that shit put up better fights than Spence. Now, granted, Bud heightened his level of focus for this fight because he knew, yo, this is the fight of my career right here. This is what's gonna make me a 2 division undisputed world champion, and this is my op in the division. He went in there and completely obliterated that dude, man, and held him less to 20% of shots landed, while Bud landed over half of his shots. That is incredible IQ. That is incredible pinpoint accuracy. That wasn't. That was just an insane performance. An insane performance. That man went in there and did what it is that he was supposed to do. I thought it'd be a bit more competitive, but the fact that he got, I gave Spence the benefit of the doubt, and once again, my prediction was wrong in that regard. Bud is a all-time great, and it's official. There's nobody who can say opposite of that. There's nobody who can say opposite. There's nothing you can say to combat that. Bud is just a generational talent, man. He is, and this shows why they made all them obstacles and created all them waves to deflect from niggas actually getting in the ring and fighting. We know what that was. We know what that was. You have to have layers in your game, man. The Spence, the cat like Spence and Golovkin's fighting style isn't too much different as far as they both fight at they both work off the jab. They both fight at a comfortable distance to where they don't have to get deep into the pocket where I could risk you countering me because I'm not necessarily defensively proficient like that. So I'll stay on the outside. The difference between the two of them is one, Golovkin has a granite chin, and for two, it's other facets of his game outside of him just being a pressure fighter. He's a lot more calculated with his pressure. What he does that Spence doesn't do is feet. If his feet cuts off the ring from from the fighters in front of him, but that also translates into being able to dictate distance and space in between you and the oh don't do not tell me we ain't gotta come in until oh man they can dictate space in between him and him and the opponent. That's the difference between him and Golovkin. That's the difference. It's levels to this shit, Brody. It's levels. So Spence just wasn't on Bud's level. Sean Porter was able to go in there and give Bud a better fight. Kell Brook was even in the 4 rounds was able to put up a better fight than Spence was because he has an arsenal in his repertoire. He has more facets to his game. Spence is he's a locomotive, and that works for him when you're in front of a certain level of an opponent. It didn't work but it honestly wasn't even working for Kell Brook. I'm really curious about how that fight would have went had Brook not been coming off of that knockout loss to Golovkin and that jumping up 2 divisions and suffering an eye injury where he had to go get surgery. I wonder about that, but it is what it is, man. But Bud had just proved to be the better opponent between the two of them, and that's what we've been saying for years. I saw it after the Porter fight. This ain't no 50-50 fight. It's not a 50-50 fight. So we've been trolling all them Texas niggas in these group chats or whatever for the past 48 hours. It's kind of glorious. I can't even cap. It's glorious to be a Nebraskan, a North Omaha representative, man. We are overjoyed. Even after the fight, just you really saw, just you saw everything he's saying was real, man. All of the years of frustration that they just spent disrespecting this man, not putting his graphic up on broadcasts. You really saw that come into it was cultivated right then and there. Like, yo, man, like y'all just went out of y'all way to disrespect me. Y'all couldn't even honor me as a champion and put my graphic up on your broadcast. Y'all, did what y'all could do to rock this fight from happening to where I can just say, fuck it, I don't need this fight. And it almost worked because he said, you're never going to hear me ask for that fight again. And they tried to use that against him. They tried to use him saying, yo, I'm not going to fight you off of that injury. They just completely ignored why he said he wasn't going to fight him off that injury and ran with it. And it's like, nah, bro, if I fight you off of that injury, they not going to give me credit for that win. They not. All of that shit culminated into what took place on Saturday night. And the interview, the post-fight interview after he won was it was heartfelt, man. We lost some solid individuals up here in the city, and he just so happened to be connected and tight with him, man. I want to say, rest in peace to Danita. Or I'll say Miss Webb. I don't know if I didn't know Shorty personally, but I know her husband. And I watched her husband, mature into the man that he is now. Even because I went to school with him, and how he was a live wire in school. And by the time he graduated high school, I remember seeing him at the movies, and his whole his aura was different. How he was dressed. We still young. He wasn't dressed in like jean shorts and forces of J's and nothing like that with a fitted. And no, he's in there in a button down shirt with slacks and Stacy's and shit like that. And how you doing, sir? Everything blessed? You have a blessed day. His energy and just how he spoke, his mannerisms was that of a mature man. A man who realized I need to get out of my ways before it puts me on the path of destruction. And he's been on that righteous path for some years. And his wife, from what I've been told, was the man who put who set him straight. So, he lost her due to cancer or whatever, man. So, peace and blessings to him. Oh, you hold your head and rest easily to his beautiful wife and the Trent dude that he's talking. I think he died in prison or whatever, man. I didn't know him, but he was he did music up here. He was, incredible rapper. I knew his lady, I knew his wife, and he passed. And this is just within the past year or so, man. So not even the past year, the past few months. Just for him to shout them out and him, that emotion that he spoke with. I've never heard him speak that articulately, but that was heartfelt. It was just a beautiful thing, man. It was a beautiful thing, and for him to shout them out and just really, he was like, yeah, you could tell that he was on the brink of tears right there, man. Like he literally just made history. And with him making history, you realize, man, this ain't about me. It's not just about me. We won. And with us winning, I got to commemorate my fallen brethren. So, that was just, an incredibly historical night on Saturday night. And we got to say peace to Bud, peace to Sierra, Trent's wife, and peace to Richard, Danita's husband. And rest in peace to Trent and Danita. And shout out to Bud Crawford for making history. We did it. We did it. Excellent win, man. Incredible performance. And ain't nothing stopping you from doing it in the third division at 154 pounds, man. But that's how I'm feeling about it, yo.